Breaking news. RGT has made some people angry. There's some pretty angry people out there right now. They've got their pitchforks trying to stab me to death. And I just, I don't know if you've gotten noticed this about me, but sometimes I like to say things that while I do believe them, I do feel like they'll garner a reaction out of people. I like to stir the pot a little bit, keep things interesting. Look at the Spawn cast that we do every week on Saturday nights over on Spawn Waves channel. Sometimes I say things because I know it'll elicit a reaction out of certain people because it makes for better watching. It makes for better entertainment. Would I have said it in a way to sort of convey my emotion and invoke an emotion out of them if we weren't live? I mean, maybe not, but I feel like it makes for a better show. It makes for a better watch. And yesterday, evidently, I made a lot of Nintendo Switch owners angry. And for that, I do not apologize. I just wanted to clarify where I was coming from because I thought this was a pretty cut and dry thing. I made a tweet yesterday talking about some Nintendo franchises. I thought it was pretty cut and dry, but evidently there was lots of questions, so I'm going to clarify these things. And this involves two franchises that are available on the Nintendo Switch with Xenoblade and Fire Emblem. Now, let me give you a little bit of backstory, okay? When Xenoblade came out on the Wii, I actually picked it up on like day one from GameStop after the whole, what was it, Project Rainforest or Rainway or something, where they made this whole big thing to get the games actually brought over to the US because they weren't going to be brought over to the US on the Wii because Nintendo was moving on to the Wii U. Fire Emblem, I mean, I played Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance. It's a franchise that I definitely enjoy. Strategy RPGs are a very fun franchise. I've been playing strategy RPGs since, like, I don't know, Shining Force 3 on the Sega Saturn. That's one of my favorite games of all time. Celestial Lore. Like, I love that game. So I'm well versed in these franchises. I'm well versed in how they've come along and how they've grown because I'm old and I've always followed video games. But here's the tweet in question, and I'll try to clarify a few things for you guys. I'm surprised I didn't say like an F-bomb on here because I don't know, I try not to say it on the channel, but sometimes I definitely say it on Twitter. I'll go ahead and say it and be the bad guy. See, right here, that's how you know I'm trying to invoke a little bit of emotion out of people because it makes for a better conversation. Fire Emblem and Xenoblade are great franchise. I meant to say franchises, whatever. They're well represented on the Switch. I don't need another Fire Emblem right now. One is still not out. There are tons of other Switch franchise, or there are tons of other Nintendo franchises that aren't on the Switch that should be. Now, what sort of spurred on this tweet? Well, it comes from the fact that it seems like there's another mainline Fire Emblem game that's 100% done. This information was leaked to us from Emily Rogers, along with other people. It does seem like the game does exist, like to the point of where there were some screenshots that popped up on Reddit last night that leaked of this game. Basically, people have told me off the record something about the game before these screenshots leaked, and these screenshots actually line up completely with what they told me. So I'm a firm believer in what we saw at some point was indeed a stage of a new Fire Emblem game. Now, why did I mention Fire Emblem and Xenoblade? That was a huge question that so many people had because I was signaling out these two franchises. I thought it was pretty damn simple. Look at the release calendar for Nintendo. Please tell me, at the time of the filming of this video, which is June 15th, what are the next two big games coming to us from Nintendo that are first-party titles? Of course, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and we have Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, I think it's called, the Three Houses of Hope, whatever. There's a new Fire Emblem game, there's a new Xenoblade game coming out, and these games haven't even come out yet, and we're already talking about a new Fire Emblem mainline game. Now, yes, the Warriors games are different styles than what we saw from other Fire Emblem games. I totally get that sentiment. My thing is this, though. When you look at Fire Emblem and you look at Xenoblade, they are very, very well represented on the Nintendo Switch. Taking Xenoblade, for instance, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 1 Definitive Edition. We have Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We have Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna. We have Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming out next month. So that's a lot of games. That is a lot of Xenoblade games. When we look at Fire Emblem, we have, of course, Fire Emblem Three Houses, which is the big title. We have Fire Emblem Warriors 1. We have Fire Emblem Warriors 2 coming out very, very soon. And you also had that Fire Emblem's side release that was the Famicom game that was translated for the first time. Got a big collector's edition. Very cool stuff. I'm not even saying these games are bad. I enjoy these games. You know, maybe I didn't play them all the way through, but I understand that these are fun games. I understand that a lot of people enjoy these games and that there is a market indeed for these games. But what does my tweet have to do with any of that? Did I say that these were bad games? No. What I'm saying is I'm not excited to see another Fire Emblem game right now at this Nintendo Direct that's evidently going to be there when there are so many damn Fire Emblem games already available, including one that isn't even out yet. And I got a lot of feedback on this. There's a couple things that I want to talk about in this, and one thing that I saw, and that was just to clarify why I chose Xenoblade and why I chose Fire Emblem. A lot of people were questioning that. OJ, freaking weeb. But a lot of people were questioning why I signaled out those two games, because they're next on the release calendar. And when you look at the history of these games on the Switch, they're very well represented, and there are tons of titles that are not well represented. No Star Fox, no Kid Icarus, no new Donkey Kong. Yeah, you got Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, but that's really just one game. Like, there's so many other franchises that are available under Nintendo's tutelage that aren't on the Nintendo Switch yet. And I just thought that was kind of strange. But one thing I kept seeing pop up a lot of was, what do you expect these companies to do? What do you expect Monolith and what do you expect Intelligent Systems to be working on if they're not working on the next Fire Emblem, if they're not working on the next Xenoblade game? Wow. That's kind of a dumb statement. Exhibit A, we have I'm enjoying this way too much. We have Monolith here, and we can see what Monolith has done. They, of course, have done Xenosaga, which a lot of people want them to do a remake or something of that. Baden Kaitos. They've done games like Disaster Day of Crisis. They've done games like Project X Zone and Project X Zone 2. And, of course, they've done a ton of Xenoblade games. Just basing it off this list here, where they were lead development. Of course, there are games where they were support development, but just based on games here that they were lead development on, I could see one game right off the bat that jumps off the page completely to me that I would love to see brought over to the Nintendo Switch, and that's Disaster Day of Crisis. Like, this game was really cool, really unique on the Nintendo Wii, and for whatever reason, it got released in every other region but the United States. And at that time, systems were not region free for Nintendo, so you couldn't simply just buy a Japanese version or the European version of this game and play it on your Nintendo Wii. Nintendo's changed that philosophy, thankfully, since then. But this is a game that I would love to see. This is a game I would love to see Monolith work on. So many people want a new Xenosaga or a game, a remake of a Xenosaga game. So that's what Monolith can work on. Intelligent Systems, do you pay attention to video games? Oh my God, look at this list. There's quite a few games here. We'll just pick some. SimCity, the Famicom Disk System version of Metroid, Famicom Wars, aka Advance Wars, Advance Wars, Paper Mario. I mean, the list goes on and on here of games that they have done for various Nintendo platforms. I don't think it's fair to pigeonhole Intelligent Systems as the Fire Emblem company. Yes, they make a damn good Fire Emblem game, but they make a lot of other fun games as well, games that people like. And yes, they've done some stinkers here and there. I mean, let's be real, Color Splash, that game was pretty mid. The new WarioWare game, kind of mid. But just looking at this list, they're obviously capable of making other styles of games. They're obviously capable of making other games just outside of strategy RPG games. Now, whether or not you like those games, that's sort of up to you, but I seem to recall everyone loving Paper Mario on the N64, and that was an Intelligent Systems game. Basically, what I'm trying to say is these companies are definitely very capable of doing things outside of what you sort of assimilate them with. So I don't think it's weird to be like, should these companies try something else instead of just, sticking with the mainline franchises that they know. Now, with Intelligent Systems, you could say, well, they didn't do, the Fire Emblem's Warriors games. Obviously, that's Koei Tecmo. And you would be 100% correct. I'm not talking about mainline games with this. I'm talking about the name in general. When you see the name Fire Emblem pop up on a Nintendo Direct, when you see the name Xenoblade pop up on a Nintendo Direct, it's like, we've seen it so much. And I feel like there are other titles, there are other franchises that Nintendo does that would be better represented on here that don't have any representation, that don't have any games within the franchise. We're not just talking about mainline stuff here. We're talking about the games in general. So I don't understand the anger. Shouldn't we want more variety from Nintendo? Shouldn't we want to see classic franchises that we haven't seen in quite a while be brought back with new iterations? And why can't these companies be potentially working on them? And then one of the main things I saw was, well, blah, blah, blah. This is what they make. This is what you should expect, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you do understand who controls all of this, right? You do understand who controls, who tells Intelligent Systems, hey, Fire Emblem, make a Fire Emblem. Hey, Monolith, Xenoblade. Make a damn Xenoblade. Monolith is already confirmed to be working on another franchise that's not a Xenoblade game. That is a new IP from them. But Nintendo keeps telling them to do those games. And those are the games that Nintendo greenlights. And those are the games that Nintendo releases. So it's like, it's not a conspiracy theory. You know what I'm saying? It's not a conspiracy theory. Obviously, Nintendo is the main figure telling Intelligent Systems, telling Monolith to make more games with these particular franchises. I would just like to see different games from Nintendo. And I'm not saying that these games necessarily take away from other games. You know, people have said, oh, you're just saying, you're acting like they can't make other games. Nintendo can't have other games, but these are two prominent studios for them. You're telling me you wouldn't like to see Intelligent Systems try to do something a little bit different? You wouldn't like to see Monolith do something a little bit different, to try something a little bit different? I know I would. I think they could have an interesting spin on a franchise that Nintendo has created that would be sort of cool to see. At the end of the day, Fire Emblem and Xenoblade are good games. They're great franchises. They're very highly rated. All I'm saying is, show me a Star Fox, show me a Donkey Kong, show me a Punch-Out. I don't think these companies need to keep doing the same game within the same franchise over and over again. I don't keep needing to see Fire Emblem and Xenoblade at every Nintendo Direct. Like, I don't need it. Me personally. If you need it, awesome. That's what this all boils down to. It's just my opinion. I'm just a random guy on the internet who talks about video games. And I said, you know what? I feel like I've seen a little bit too much of Fire Emblem. I've seen a little bit too much of Xenoblade on my Nintendo Switch. I would like to see other franchises. I would like to see Star Fox. I'd like to see a new Donkey Kong. I'd like to see a Kid Icarus game. I'd like to see a Punch-Out game. I don't think it's bad to say any of that. Now, did I stir the pot a little bit? I mean, maybe. What do you think the whole point of this video was? Stir the pot, baby! Stir the pot! Look, I even got my little scepter from when I was writing about Metroid Dread. I'm stirring a pot with my scepter right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to talk a little trash. Let me know what you think of this in the comment section down below. And I mean, don't hate me. It's just video games. It's just video games. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share the video. Hit that bell notification as well so you're notified of uploads I do. I tried my auctioneer thing. It didn't work really well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.